Getting to know AutoCAD, Chapter 1. Well, as we enter into this chapter, we will be learning about the differences between AutoCAD drawings and hand drawings. So, by hand drawing, we remember from 1140 sketching and drafting that those drawings took a quite amount of time off of our days and lives to get completed. Well, with AutoCAD, it's a lot faster. However, at times you do have your hiccups, but the purpose of using the technology is to be able to create faster and more accurate drawings. The drawings are done at full scale, at full size, and are scaled only for printing. So once you draw your drawing, you scale it when you get ready to print it out. You work with a team. Working with a team design is easier because when there's changes that needed to be made, you can send it off to your colleague. They can make their changes on the file, send the file back to you, and no fuss, no muss. Any drawing fixtures or furniture and appliances, you can use them as many times as you like, because what you're going to create in AutoCAD is something called a template that we'll talk about later on. But that template can be used over and over and over again, or saved so that it can be used over again. You can also use items drawn by other designers, so that way you don't have to trace anything anymore. You don't have to use those tracing templates. You have a library where you can store your templates so that they're accessible to reuse later. And when you have to erase or you make a mistake, you can just use the erase tool and you don't have to make a mess on your paper. So the major advantage to using AutoCAD is that all your drawings are drawn in full scale, and when you need to make a mistake, you can just delete it and start again, or cut and paste what you need as many times as you need it. This is what your AutoCAD screen will look like once you start it up. And it simply allows you at this time to either start a new drawing, as shown here with the arrow, or underneath it open files, open sheets, or whatever the case may be. But this is your start screen of your AutoCAD. Once you open up a new drawing, you have something called the drawing area. And within this area is where you will complete all of your drawings. At the top of your setup, you have something called an application menu browser, and that's a pull down with menu items that can be accessed that we will discuss very soon here. But then next to that, you have something called the ribbon tabs. And each of this tab has a toolbar, and the toolbars are grouped. And it has images on it as well for easy access to those toolbars. And we're going to discuss that in the next slide. But I also want to bring your attention to something called the ribbon. The ribbon contains panels, which are a style of toolbars that are put together also again in groups. So it's almost like a subtitle to your ribbon tabs. At the bottom of your screen, you're going to see something called model and layout tabs. These are two tabs that are called model and layout. And there's something called model space and paper space, which we will discuss. But then you have something next to that called the command line. That command line is going to be your directions to all of your drawings, and we'll discuss that as well. And next to that, you have your status bar, and the status bar is letting you know if you're in that model or layout space. Over here, luckily, our book is very cool that it does gives us the commands for those of us that are choosing to use a Mac versus a Windows system. So in your right lower corner, it does give you what your AutoCAD screen looks like on those Mac versions. The toolbar and command line that I discussed on the previous page. The toolbars are categorized by function, and you can access them by selecting each tab individually. So when we get into AutoCAD, I'll show you that we'll be able to click on each of these tabs that are found in this toolbar. And each tab has its own panels, which means it contains information in those in that actual tab. Now the home tab has the most commands that are mostly used throughout AutoCAD, such as your lines, creating circles, creating arcs, trimming something or cutting something, erasing something, adding something, or extending is what they use that word as. When you want to add text, when you want to create dimensions, all of those are found within that home tab that you will learn about. The command line, again, is like another hub. It's the command. It's going to tell you, the drawer or the user designer, what is being done on your screen. It's found near the bottom of the drawing screen, and the command displays which command is selected. So if I were to go up to my toolbars and I selected a line because I'm ready to draw a line, it's going to prompt down at the bottom, a line is being drawn, but it's also going to ask me for additional details, such as what is the distance of the line, how far, or what the measurement of the line is. And in this space is where you're going to type in what it's asking. So if I need to draw the line and I need it at 8 feet, I would type in that space 8 feet, and we'll learn more about that. Navigation tools. The navigation tools that are found within your AutoCAD screen is something called a view cube. And all of a view cube, a navigation bar, and a USC icon. These three items allows you to navigate through your drawing, move your drawing around, take a look at it from different views. So in the view cube, you can find a compass that gives me the north, south, east, and west. And then inside of the square of the cube, it has the word top. And when you click it, it'll say bottom as well. So now I can create a drawing and I can look at it from the south, the east, the west, whichever view that I want to see my drawing once I have created it. Then also you have your navigation bar, and it's going to have icons in there such as pan. And that's when I want to shift my drawing from left to right, up and down. Or it has something called orbit, and it takes you and it flies you around your drawing as if you're orbiting around the actual drawing. And it allows you to also zoom into your drawing or zoom out of your drawing in case you want to get a close-up view of something within your space, or in case you want to take a step back to see what it looks like further away from you. And the USC icon, this is where your X and Y coordinates are located, and you can change the coordinates in your drawings if need be. And most of the time when we're working, actually all the time when we're working with AutoCAD, our drawings are drawn on the X and Y coordinates. The application browser, or the big A, that is found at the top of your drawing space, is where you will open and save your drawings. You can go here when you want to create a new drawing. You can go here when you want to open an existing drawing. When you're ready to save things, or save as, the same as if you were working in a Word document. And there's also some other icons in there, such as import and export, and obviously print. But then most importantly, that close tab, it allows you to close your drawing, but it does not shut down the AutoCAD program. It just takes you out of that particular drawing, and then you may want to open something else. Let's talk about saving your drawings in AutoCAD. When you go to save or save as, especially when we're dealing as save as, this is the place where you want to name your drawing. The default name that's going to appear in the save as is going to be drawing 1 DWG. And this is for that first time user when you're first initially beginning to create a drawing and now it's time to save it and you need to rename it. It is required that you do rename it, and also you need to select where it's going to go. Is it going to go straight to your documents? Is it going to go into a folder? This is the place where you call that out at. And then also you can select the file type. It is recommended that drawings are saved in the earlier version so that others with older versions can access it if they need to. And that's only in cases as if when you're sharing your drawings back and forth, or if you are working at home and you need to come to the school and you need to open it back up at the school. So you want to save it in an older version if you can. For instance, I am working on AutoCAD 2020 right now, but I tend to save my drawings as AutoCAD 2018, sometimes 2019. That way, when I'm sending it off to someone who may not have updated their AutoCAD yet for whatever reasons, they can still open it if they have that older version. And it doesn't matter because I have 2020, they send it back to me as a 2018 file. I can still open it no matter what. This image here shows you what it looks like again on the PC, and then what prompts and what it looks like on a Mac version as well.